Susan Cingari here with another edition of the Must Love MMA Show. A big welcome to all my viewers, and thanks for joining us today. Joining me today on the show is Bellator MMA Aaron Pico, who has a big fight coming up at Bellator 192 against Shane Kruchten. Hey, Aaron, how are you today?
I'm doing good, Susan. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
Thanks a lot for getting back in touch with me and jumping on the call so quickly today. Now, let me ask you a question. Yeah, we're really excited to talk to you here. I want to ask you, first start with a little bit about some stats that I found on you guys, you and your opponent. The stats say Shane is 5 inches taller than you and has a 3-inch reach advantage. How does that factor into your game plan going into this fight?
Yeah, he's quite a bit taller than me, has a longer reach on me. Typically with taller guys that have longer reaches than you is get to the inside, slip, get your weight. But fortunately, MMA, there's so many, disciplines that go into it. So I have so many options. I could take it down. I could hit the pocket. I can kick. There's a lot of things that I have. So obviously, I don't see the reach or the height anything to fear. I just stick to my assets, and that's, I'm able to wrestle, I'm able to box. It should be a great night for me.
Okay. How do you think you match up stylistically with him, though?
I think it's great. I think Shane Kruchten is a tough guy. He's a veteran of the sport. He's been in the game for a long time, so he has a wealth of experience, more than I do. But I think my youth is going to play a big factor. I've got high-level wrestling. I've got high-level striking. And I'm very good on the ground. A lot of people underestimate my ground game because my fights I haven't, one, I lost my first fight, and two, I knocked the guy out on my feet. But since my last fight, I put a lot of emphasis on my jiu-jitsu and on my ground game. So I know he's a purple belt in his discipline of jiu-jitsu. So I'm aware of that, and I put a lot of time in my ground game. So I'm prepared for all. My coach and I and my teammates have gone through all the scenarios that can possibly happen, and we are prepared for January 20th.
Now, I know you like to go for the knockout, and you kind of feel best on your feet. Is that part of the big game plan as well for the fight? Would you like to see it go that way?
Absolutely. Anytime you can get a knockout on your feet it's a great feeling, and that's what the fans like to see. So, absolutely, I definitely am I'm gonna try to knock his head off, absolutely. But it's a fight, so anything could happen. And if I need to switch to my wrestling, I will. So, but yeah, the game plan is, I will take him down if I want. I can stand on my feet. We'll just have to see. But the main thing for me in the fight is just to relax and listen to my corner and stay composed and keep my hands up and be like a little tank and hunt him down. And if I do that, the fight will go my way for sure.
It's funny you mentioned that because one of the questions I have on the list here is about a little bit about what you had spoken after the Bellator press conference, your last fight. You had said, quote, "Once you relax, your skills were going to show," unquote. And you just mentioned that again. And since the mental preparation is just as important as the physical preparation, how do you relax?
That's Antonio McKee. Honestly, Antonio McKee, my coach, does a great job with me. He says, how can this guy possibly beat you? I see you every day. We're here 6 days a week putting in this work. And you just got to relax. You hit harder than anybody that I've ever held pads for. You hit, you're great on the ground. You've got a great wrestling background.
Mm-hmm.
Just be aware. Just relax. Just listen to me. If you get in a situation, listen to the corner. Just relax. Obviously, my first fight, I didn't have Antonio in my corner. But thank God I had him in my second fight, because the first fight I was a little anxious. I was prepared, but I was a little anxious. I rushed in there, I got hit with an uppercut, and he got me with the choke. But that's I'm glad it happened, and now I know. Relax, take it. I have 15 minutes to beat him up. 15 minutes, and the longer the fight goes, the worse for him. Because I can tell you one thing, Susan, I do not get tired. I don't get tired. I train so hard in my conditioning that I will not get tired. I can't even say get tired, because I don't like to even say that in my vocabulary, because I've got a great conditioning coach, and we put in a lot of work, and I'm ready to go.
You just mentioned Antonio McKee. Tell our viewers, because he was the first person that called you after your loss at Madison Square Garden. What did he say to you, Aaron?
Yeah, that's a phone call that I'm forever thankful for. I remember the phone call very. I was crossing the border because my girlfriend and my dad actually went away for 2 days. We just drove through Mexico. So when I crossed the border, I had cell service, and I think I texted him or something like that. But I got a call. He called me, and he said, "Listen, you can be a world champion. You've got all the skill sets. You've got the mindset. You've got the work ethic. Let me help you. I can help you for sure." And I've been with Antonio McKee since I was a kid. I would go to his wrestling practices,
right.
and I remember being 7 years old with my mom. I had to lose some weight, and it was 9 o'clock at night, and I had to shed a few pounds. And my mom took me to Antonio McKee's, and he helped me lose the weight, and I made weight, and I won the tournament. And he just said I could help you, and my mom too. My mom said, "Hey." My mom remembers those moments too, being a kid and being with Antonio and him helping me out as a little boy. He said, "Okay, it's time to get serious now. You want to get serious about this fighting game? Now go to Antonio McKee to learn how to fight. You have all that, the skill set, you need to learn how to fight." I said, "Okay, Mom, let's go." I was there Monday morning, and the rest is history. And that phone call changed my life and my MMA career, and I'm forever thankful. Because Antonio goes beyond just fighting. He's a very spiritual person. He's been through ups and downs, but he helps me out a lot in life, and I'm thankful for it.
I like Antonio McKee. He's been in the game a long time, and I do agree that he's a big asset to any fighter. It's ironic you come full circle with him, isn't it? Since you said you were with him as a little kid, it's kind of ironic in some respects, no?
Very, very. I remember he's always been very passionate about helping people, and kids that were didn't have a lot. They would be at his practices. He was raising money to send kids across the country to wrestle, to get them shoes. I remember, and it just it was. He's always been good. Obviously, life takes you in different directions, but when you're at your lowest point, Madison Square Garden, and you're embarrassed, everybody's watched you, and it's like you're getting all these messages and stuff like that, like you suck and all this stuff, and it's like the most embarrassing day of my life. You find out who are the people that are really close to you and have really had your back. And Antonio McKee had my back. He was the first, he was to call me and say, "Hey, listen, let's work together." And that meant a lot. That was deep for me, and I'm a very loyal person. He's a very loyal person. So for me to go out and fight, I feel like I'm fighting for my coach too, to prove that he's the best coach in MMA, which I believe in. So, and everybody at the body shop, I believe we're the best. So it's the body shop. We have a special connection. We're going to do something very, very special, and we're all winning, and we're just going to keep going forward.
You're still working with Freddie Roach. Have you changed up your training camp for this fight with him at all, for this opponent?
Yes, I trained with Freddie Roach. I was with Miguel Cotto as his main training sparring partner for Saddam Ali. So I spent a lot of time on Wildcard, every single day on Wildcard and with Antonio. And as the fight gets closer, I spend a lot more time with Antonio. I still go to Wildcard maybe once or twice a week, but I really just focus on my MMA. And then after this fight, I go back to Wildcard, keep my boxing skills up, and with Antonio. And as I get closer to the MMA fight, I really just focus on the fight. Part family is great. I'm very thankful to be there.
I'm curious to find out whether or not now you come from a wrestling background, so you've been under the pressure, but a new prospect, a Madison Square debut, there was a lot, in due respect, riding on you. How much did that whole hoopla-doopla, so to speak, affect you, do you think, mentally at that performance?
Honestly, I mean, I've sparred with like some of the best fighters, and I know where I'm at. And I know what I'm capable of doing. It's just I need that cage time and experience. I knew I was very, of course, I was very embarrassed and it was very down. But I knew I didn't lose my skill sets in 30 seconds. I know what I'm capable of doing. It's just relaxing and letting it shine. And then I was up a weight too, so that was a little bit of an adjustment to me for that. But now that I'm at my natural weight, 145, I feel really good at it. But as it was like a learning curve. That's still like, I can't wait to go back to Madison Square Garden and revenge that loss. I know, God willing, everything goes well, I stay healthy, but I definitely would love to go back and fight there again and put on a show, because I know I'm capable of doing it. It's just, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens,
right,
I believe.
Right.
I don't think I'd be with Antonio if I would have won, and that really feels weird to think about, if me not being with Antonio and the guys at Body Shop. I'd rather take the loss and be with them than win and not be with them, by far.
Wow, strong words. Yeah, it is interesting. All right, I got just a couple more questions for you, Aaron. Do you have a secret talent? Secret talent.
Oh man, no, I don't. But I love horses. I have a horse. I ride my horse every single day. That's my favorite thing to do, is be with my horse. My horse is named Canelo. And I'm actually a pretty good horseman. Not a lot of people know. I'm very, very into horses. I study it all the time. Any opportunity I possibly get. If I'm not training, I'm watching videos, reading about how to become a better horseman. So that's probably not a lot of people know. Like, they probably see me that I ride horses, but it goes deeper than just riding horses. Like, I'm like obsessed with horses. I can't wait to, like, I always say like, when I'm done fighting, I'm going to do whatever I possibly can to be the best fighter. I'm going to do whatever I can to make it, and I will make it. But once I'm done with fighting, people probably will never see me again. I'll just be on my ranch with my horses and my kids, and I'll just retire. Nobody will see me. I'll just be with my horses. So that's a little fun fact.
That is a fun fact, and I appreciate that. When you're talking about riding, are you jumping, or are you just, give me a little bit more information on what I'm getting from you in this interview is that it's probably the spiritual connection between you and the horse is very important, is it not?
Yeah, no, I don't I do my whole thing is like, I love like ranch work, working with cows, and like I want to have a ranch one day. But my whole thing with the horse is just being able to ride the horse and him just feeling your body and not having to like yank on him or anything like that. Like, I can ride my horse without any hands, no reins, no nothing. It's all feel. It's just that's what I'm trying to become, a better horseman. Is just the best horsemen don't need to yank on their horse, or they don't need to do anything like that. And one thing that's I really, really enjoy is it's bullfighting, but it's on a horse. And you watch the way that the horses move and the way that the rider's able to control them. It's just all with their legs, and that really, I really like that. The best horsemen don't, like you said, don't yank on their horse. They have a connection with their horse that they just have to signal their horse, and their horse knows what they're doing. It's just feel and timing, and it takes practice. Like I said, I'm there with my horse every single day, so that's my baby. I tell him all my secrets. He doesn't tell anybody my secrets, and that's my pride and joy is my horse. So after Madison Square Garden, I've ridden horses all the time, but I wanted a horse as a kid. I would beg my parents, and they never got it from me because I was just young. I was so busy with everything.
Right.
But after the Madison Square Garden, I said, okay, all right. I got away from my horses for a little bit, and I said, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna get a horse. I don't care what anybody tells me. I'm gonna go do it. So I went to the horse stables, and there was a horse for sale. Nice horse there, and they said his name was Canelo. I told my girlfriend, I said, that horse is gonna be mine for sure. Watch. And as time went on, they were like, oh yeah, he's for sale, and I said, I'll buy him. They're like,
wow.
Serious? I said, yep. I went and bought him. It was the best decision I ever made, and the rest is history. It's kind of a risk because like people say you need to take your time and all this stuff, but I'm very fortunate that it was a match and we clicked right away, and it's been fun.
Before we go today, Aaron, anything else you want to talk about today?
I think I'm good. Not much. It just everything is going well. My training camp, my family and my coaches have done a great job with me. It's not just me that goes out there and fights. It's a very team effort. I'm very, very lucky that I have a lot of people that support me. But it's been fun. I like this interview. It's fun because I got to talk about my horses, my horse.
We always aim high here at Must Love MMA. We always aim high here at Must Love MMA. Aaron Pico, thank you so much for joining me today on the Must Love MMA show, where every fighter has a story. You can follow Aaron on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Aaron Pico USA. And listen up, MMA fans. You can catch Bellator 192 live and free on the Paramount Network, starting with the preliminaries at 7 p.m. and the main card, which is where our boy Aaron Pico is fighting, going down at 9 p.m. EST. Aaron Pico, good luck.
Thank you, Susan. I appreciate it. I look forward to being on the show again. Hopefully after this fight, I can be back on. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.